Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're looking at the new 2025 Volvo EX30. It's a tiny SUV, a small Volvo SUV, but apparently it's the most powerful Volvo car ever produced. Now the 2025 Volvo EX30 debuts as the brand's smallest electric SUV, slotting below the C40 Recharge and the XC40 Recharge in size and price. The starting price for this vehicle is just around $35,000. Production starts later this year, with customer deliveries expected in early 2024. That's early 2024 actually, so that's really fantastic. Now the 268 horsepower rear-wheel drive of the EX30 has a claimed range of 275 miles. And additionally, there's also a 422 horsepower all-wheel drive model that is also available. The EX30's interior boasts a single 12.3-inch touchscreen, and that's made from recycled material, and a full-width soundbar on the dashboard. So we know that EVs are getting bigger through seeing the EX90. That's a big EV, but in a great way. People really like that EV. So it's refreshing to see Volvo trend in the other direction. This is a smaller SUV, but still very powerful. The Swedish automaker Next EV, the compact EX30 SUV, is powered by a modest battery that nevertheless managed to churn out a decent amount of range. But more compelling is the starting price of just around $35,000, which is impressive when you consider how expensive EVs have gotten in recent years. Volvo is leaning into the small motive, referring to today's announcement as an unboxing event, and an earlier tease image features a gigantic hand coming down from the sky to pick up the small electric SUV that is the EX30. And I've got a quote from the CEO of Volvo, Jim Rowan, and he said in a statement, "We like to say the EX30 is small yet mighty because it delivers on everything you would expect from a Volvo, but in a smaller package." Of course, Volvo haven't shielded away from its big vehicles. Its upcoming EX90 SUV is a big family vehicle, and it's a luxurious three-row family vehicle. But in a market where bigger vehicles tend to require bigger batteries with bigger carbon footprint, Volvo efforts to offer an affordable EV in a small category is downright quaint. Now the EX30 will come in two different trims, a single motor extended range model and a higher performance dual motor version. Both will feature a 69 kilowatt battery with 64 kilowatts of usable power. That battery can accept up to 153 kilowatts of DC fast charging for a 0 to 80% charge time in just around 26 minutes. That's really incredible actually. The EX30 extended range motor is in the rear axle and can put out 268 horsepower and 253 pound-feet of torque, while the dual motor version adds a 154 horsepower motor to the front axle, as well as a total of 422 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. The single motor model can leap from 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds, while the all-wheel drive version can do the sprint in 3.4 seconds. That's Volvo's fastest accelerating car ever. Now the EX30 has a slighter short wheelbase that is 104.3 inches compared to the Volkswagen ID.4, which is 108.9 inches, and the Tesla Model Y, which is 113.8 inches, but a little bit more cargo capacity. That's 31.9 cubic feet versus the ID.4 30.3 cubic feet. And of course, the Model Y, which is 30.2 cubic feet. So in terms of cargo space in the trunk in the back, this vehicle packs a punch. This is good. Now, even more interesting, the EX30 won't have some of the more expensive sensors that can be found on the EX90, like LiDAR, laser sensors to aid the driver in avoiding objects on the road. It will have some cool safety tech of its own. It will be Volvo's first car to include the next generation version of Park Assist Pilot, which is said to be able to handle all types of parking spaces, including parallel park, curve, perpendicular, and diagonal fishbone style. It will also have a special safety feature that sounds an alarm if a cyclist or pedestrian is passing right as you're about to open your door, to avoid dooring them, or to avoid, hitting someone while they're riding their bike. Now, as for the Volvo infotainment system touchscreen, that's run on a Volvo operating system that features native version of Google apps like Maps, Assistance, Play, and other software suppliers such as Apple and Qualcomm will also be included in helping deliver the EX30 user's experience. Now, Volvo has said it plans to sell 600,000 EVs by the middle of the decade and will build a battery manufacturing facility in Europe by 2026. The company is working with Swedish partner Northvolt on a new generation of battery with higher energy density designed to be integrated as a structural element of the vehicle. The new battery, due after 2025, will enable a longer range between charges, up to 625 miles, and a much faster charging time apparently. To date, Volvo has released two long-range EVs, the XC40 Recharge, which went on sale in 2021, and the C40 Recharge, which was released this year. The EX90 was delayed until next year as a result of software issues, and so was the Polestar 3. They're built on the same platform and both vehicles have been delayed until around early 2024 or mid 2024. So those are the information about the vehicle, to be honest. Now let's talk about the exterior. I really like the exterior design. It's really fantastic. I love the interior design as well. And what I really like about this car is that it stays true to Volvo. This car looks almost identical to the original Volvo concept, which is something that I really appreciate. It's not the exact same, but it looks very familiar and very similar. And not to mention, even more important, it looks very familiar to its bigger rival, the EX90. Not really a rival, more like a sibling to be honest, but it's supposed to be a smaller version of the EX90, and that's exactly what it is. It's accomplished its goal. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes one of Volvo's best sellers, considering the price, considering the range, considering the easeability, considering everything this vehicle has to offer. It's a great option for a lot of buyers, especially these days. Everyone wants an electric vehicle, but in a bigger size, but not too big, but a decent price. This vehicle absolutely fits perfectly in between in terms of pricing, in terms of space, and in terms of range. It's going to suit a lot of people very well. A lot of people have been waiting for this vehicle specifically, and I think it's going to be very popular for Volvo customers, of course. And of course, the interior is just very different from what we're used to. And it's good to see Volvo innovating and taking a different direction into what they'd like to accomplish. They're designing vehicles differently, and this is good. The only thing I don't like is the portrait display. I believe the future is landscape display, but I think Volvo and Polestar will slowly start going into that area. Polestar has already begun with the Polestar 4. They've introduced a landscape display into the Polestar 4, and I think that's going to be very welcome. And as for the heads-up display on the EX30, it's a very small heads-up display. Honestly thought we'd be getting a slightly bigger heads-up display, familiar to the Polestar 3, the Volvo EX90 perhaps. But this is a very small display. In fact, we don't fully understand how it will function. We haven't seen any videos of this on its own operating, but still very, very interesting from Volvo. Very simplistic as well from Volvo. And I must say, there is a version of this car that comes in silver and black, and it looks absolutely amazing. It looks absolutely incredible. Seriously, really love what Volvo is doing. They're changing the game, and they're not afraid to change things up and do things in a different way. And I welcome this. Seriously, I love what Volvo is doing. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in our next video.